Look around you. You will notice something strange. Some people age fast. Wrinkles before time. Tired eyes. A heavy face. And then there are others. Same age. Same struggles. Same world. Yet they look younger. Calmer. Lighter. Almost untouched by time. And here's the truth no one tells you. Looking younger than your age has very little to do with genetics. It has everything to do with how you live inside your mind. Buddhism has spoken about this for thousands of years. Not about creams, not about beauty, but about inner weight. So if people often say, "You don't look your age," this video is for you. Today, we are diving deep into what it really means if you look younger than your age, according to Buddhism and real-life psychology. But before we begin, if this kind of content opens your mind, strengthens your spirit, and sharpens your awareness, like this video, subscribe to this channel, because what you're about to hear, most people are not ready for. 1. You don't carry unnecessary emotional weight. Buddhism teaches a truth that most people never realize until their body starts breaking down. Suffering does not just hurt the mind, it ages the soul. Look closely at people who look older than their age. Not just tired, but worn. You'll notice something haunting in their eyes. It's not time that aged them. It's what they refuse to put down. Old grudges they keep replaying like a broken film. Anger that never found release. Conversations they keep re-arguing in their head at 3 a.m. Regret they carry like a secret punishment. Buddhism calls this attachment to suffering, when pain is no longer an experience, but an identity. And the body remembers everything the mind refuses to let go. Every time someone holds on to resentment, their jaw tightens, their shoulders rise, their breath becomes shallow, and slowly, almost invisibly, their face hardens. Wrinkles appear not because of age, but because the face has forgotten how to rest. But then, there are people like you. You may not even realize it, but somewhere along the way, you learn something rare. You learn how to put things down. Not because life was kind to you, but because you understood that carrying pain forever is a silent form of self-destruction. You stopped replaying old scenes that can never be changed. You stopped poisoning today with yesterday's wounds. You stopped giving free rent in your mind to people who no longer belong there. Buddhism teaches that letting go is not weakness. It is wisdom, and when the mind releases its grip, the body follows. Your face softens because it is no longer bracing for attack. Your eyes stay clear because they are not clouded by bitterness. Your expression remains youthful because it is not carved by resentment. This is why some people can go through unimaginable hardship and still look light, still look calm, still look untouched, because they don't drag their suffering behind them like chains. They feel pain, but they don't become pain. And here's the part most people don't want to hear. Every grudge you carry, every anger you suppress, every regret you refuse to release, is silently rewriting your face. Emotional baggage is heavy, not metaphorically, biologically. Stress hormones flood the system. Sleep becomes shallow. The nervous system never fully relaxes, and the body ages under constant internal pressure. But when you let go, truly let go, something miraculous happens. Your breath deepens. Your nervous system resets. Your face remembers peace. That is why people say, "You look younger than your age." What they are really saying is, your soul is not tired. And in Buddhist wisdom, a soul that is not tired will always look young, no matter how many years pass. 2. You live more in the present moment. Buddhism teaches something that sounds simple, but is devastatingly rare. The present moment is the only place where life exists. Yet look around. Most people are physically here, but mentally, they are anywhere except now. They wake up already worried about what might happen. They go to bed replaying what already did. Their mind is constantly traveling into the future, creating anxiety that hasn't happened yet, into the past, reopening wounds that cannot be healed there. This endless mental movement comes at a cost. The nervous system never rests. The body stays on alert. Stress hormones flow without pause. And slowly, silently, the body ages under invisible pressure. This is why some people look exhausted even when they haven't done much. Their mind never clocks out. But then there are people like you. People who look younger than their age often share a rare inner habit. They know how to arrive. Not spiritually, not dramatically, but fully. When you eat, you are actually eating. You taste the food instead of scrolling a screen. When you walk, you feel your feet touch the ground. You notice the air, the light, the silence between sounds. When you speak, you are not rehearsing the next sentence in your head. You are present with the person in front of you. Buddhism calls this mindfulness, not as a practice, but as a way of living. And mindfulness is not calmness. It is undivided attention. Presence tells the nervous system, you are safe right now. And when the body feels safe, it repairs itself. Breathing slows. Muscles loosen. The face softens. This is why people who live in the present often appear younger. Not because life treats them better, but because their body is not being attacked by their own thoughts all day. Here is a painful truth. Most aging is not caused by time. It is caused by unresolved mental tension. The future does not wrinkle the face. The past does. Worry tightens the forehead. Regret hardens the eyes. Mental noise steals sleep, and sleep is youth. But presence does something extraordinary. It dissolves time. When you are fully here, the past loses its grip, and the future loses its threat. Only this breath exists. Only this step exists. Only this moment exists. And in this moment, there is no aging. Buddhism teaches that enlightenment is not somewhere else. It is here when the mind stops running. People who look younger than their age are often not chasing youth. They are simply not resisting now. They are not mentally fighting life. They are allowing it. And the body rewards that surrender, because presence is not just peace. Presence is preservation. And those who live here, truly here, carry youth in their face, no matter how many years pass. 3. You don't seek validation to exist. One of the most uncomfortable truths Buddhism teaches is this. The need for validation is a form of suffering, not because praise is evil, not because approval is wrong, but because when your sense of worth depends on others, your peace is never yours. Look closely at people who constantly seek validation. Their body is never at rest. They scan faces for reactions. They reread messages, searching for hidden meanings. They measure their value in likes, replies, attention, and status. And all of this creates a quiet, permanent tension. Buddhism calls this attachment to self-image, the endless effort to protect, polish, and prove a version of me. And the body pays the price. The jaw tightens from holding opinions back. The forehead strains from constant self-monitoring. The eyes lose softness because they are always watching to be judged. Over time, this invisible tension etches itself onto the face. People don't look older because life is harder. They look older because they are always performing. But then there are people like you. People who look younger than their age often carry a quiet freedom that others cannot name. They do not need permission to exist. They don't twist themselves to be accepted. They don't constantly explain who they are. They don't reshape their truth to fit into rooms that don't honor it. Buddhism calls this non-attachment, especially non-attachment to praise and blame. When someone compliments you, you accept it without inflation. When someone criticizes you, you listen without collapse. Because your identity is not built on external echoes. And when you are no longer trying to prove yourself, something profound happens. The body relaxes. Your face stops bracing for judgment. Your posture loosens. Your breath deepens. You are no longer acting. You are being. Here is the part most people fear. You are comfortable being unseen. You don't need to announce every thought. You don't need to display every success. You don't need applause to validate your existence. In Buddhism, this is considered a sign of inner maturity, because those who are secure do not need witnesses. And this inner security has a visible effect. Youth stays longer in the face of those who are not constantly defending an image. No mask means no tension. No performance means no strain. Your expressions remain natural. Your eyes stay clear. Your face stays soft. Comfort is not laziness. Comfort is safety. And a nervous system that feels safe does not age quickly. This is why the most peaceful people are rarely the loudest. They don't need to be. They are at home within themselves. And in Buddhist wisdom, a person who is at home within themselves will always carry a quiet, ageless glow, even as the years pass. 4. You have a quiet mind, not a noisy one. Buddhism never praised the loudest mind in the room. It never glorified constant thinking, endless analysis, or mental speed. Instead, It pointed to something far more powerful: stillness. A quiet mind is not an empty mind. It is a mind that knows when to stop fighting. Most people live inside a storm of thoughts they never chose. Their mind overthinks everything, replays conversations, imagines worst-case scenarios, searches for danger where none exists. This constant inner noise keeps the body trapped in survival mode. Even when there is no threat, the nervous system acts as if there is. Cortisol floods the bloodstream. Sleep becomes shallow and restless. The face never fully relaxes. And slowly, almost invisibly, the body ages under pressure. Not because time is cruel, but because the mind never allows rest. You can see it in people's faces. A permanent tension in the forehead. Tired eyes that never fully recover. Skin that looks dull, not because of age, but because of exhaustion. Buddhism understood this long before modern science did. It taught that suffering begins in the mind. And so does aging. But then there are people like you. People who look younger than their age often share one quiet, powerful trait. Their inner dialogue is not constantly attacking them. They don't chase every thought. They don't wrestle with every emotion. They don't argue with reality. They allow thoughts to pass, without turning them into battles. This is not ignorance. This is mastery. Buddhism calls this mental non-attachment, the ability to observe the mind without becoming enslaved by it. When the mind stops fighting, something extraordinary happens in the body. Breathing deepens. Muscles release. The face softens into its natural state. The body finally feels safe enough to repair itself. Sleep becomes restorative. The eyes regain clarity. The skin reflects calm instead of stress. A quiet mind sends a powerful message to the nervous system. You are not in danger. And safety is the foundation of youth. Here is a truth most people never hear. Aging is not accelerated by thinking. It is accelerated by overthinking. Thoughts that never end. Worries that never resolve. Imaginary threats that drain real energy. But when the mind rests, the body follows. People with quiet minds don't look young because they are lucky. They look young because they are not constantly at war with themselves. Buddhism teaches that enlightenment is not found in thinking more. It is found in thinking less. In the space between thoughts. In the pause. In the silence. And those who live closer to that silence carry something rare in their presence. An ageless calm. Because a resting mind does more than bring peace. It preserves life. 5. You don't identify with your pain. One of the most liberating truths Buddhism offers is also one of the hardest to accept. You are not your suffering. Pain will visit every human life. Loss, rejection, failure, betrayal. None of us escape it. But what ages people is not the pain itself. It is what they become because of it. Look closely at those who seem worn beyond their years. Their suffering has turned into an identity. I am broken. I am unlucky. I am always the one who loses. I am a victim of life. These sentences don't just describe experience. They define existence. And once pain becomes identity, the body carries it permanently. The shoulders slump under invisible weight. The face tightens into a defensive expression. The eyes lose light because hope feels dangerous. Buddhism teaches that this is the deepest trap of suffering, mistaking the storm for the sky. When pain is fused with identity, the nervous system never stands down. Even in moments of calm, the body stays braced, expecting the next blow. And that constant vigilance ages the body faster than time ever could. But then there are people like you. People who look younger than their age often share something rare. They experience pain without becoming it. They feel grief fully, but they don't let it name them. They face failure, but they don't wear it as a label. They endure hardship, but they refuse to let it define their worth. Buddhism calls this right view, seeing pain clearly, without merging with it. You observe your struggles instead of drowning in them. You say, "This is happening to me," not "this is who I am." And that single shift changes everything. When pain is seen as a visitor, not an identity, the body doesn't need to harden itself around it. The face remains open. The breath remains free. The eyes remain alive. This is why some people can go through devastation and still look light, still look gentle, still look young. They have learned that pain is part of life, but not the owner of it. Here is the truth most people never realize. Every identity you build around suffering becomes a mask you wear every day. And masks are heavy. They tighten the jaw. They freeze expression. They etch lines where softness should live. But when you release the story of being broken, your face remembers how to rest. Buddhism teaches that freedom begins when you stop saying, "I am my pain," and start saying, "I am aware of my pain." Awareness creates distance. Distance creates space. And space allows healing. This is why people who do not identify with their suffering carry something ageless in their presence. Because time can touch the body, but it cannot age a soul that refuses to be defined by pain. 6. You don't rush life. There is something deeply revealing about the way a person moves through the world. Watch closely. People who rush through life don't just hurry. They fracture themselves. They talk fast, as if silence threatens them. They walk fast, as if being still would expose something. They live fast, afraid that if they slow down, they might have to feel. And almost without exception, they age fast. Buddhism noticed this long before clocks ruled our lives. It never taught speed as virtue. It never worshipped urgency. Instead, it taught right pace. Not laziness, not force, but alignment. The natural rhythm of a mind and body not at war with time. Rushing sends a constant message to the nervous system. There is not enough. There is danger. You are behind. And the body believes it. The heart beats faster than it needs to. Breathing becomes shallow. Muscles stay tense, even at rest. This state is called chronic activation, and it is one of the fastest paths to premature aging. You can see it in people's faces. Tight mouths, restless eyes, a permanent sense of urgency carved into their expression. They are not living. They are chasing life. But then there are people like you. People who look younger than their age often move through the world differently. Their gestures are calm, not rushed. Their reactions are measured, not explosive. Their energy is intentional, not scattered. They are not slow. They are present. Buddhism calls this living in accordance with the moment. You don't fight time. You don't try to outrun it. You walk beside it. You understand something most people never realize. Life does not reward speed. It rewards attunement. When you stop rushing, the nervous system finally receives permission to regulate. The breath deepens. The muscles soften. The face relaxes. This is not philosophy. This is biology. A regulated nervous system repairs the body. An unregulated one destroys it quietly. That is why people who move calmly often seem untouched by years. They are not wasting energy resisting reality. They are conserving it. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Rushing is not productivity. It is fear in motion. Fear of falling behind. Fear of being left out. Fear that slowing down will reveal emptiness. But people who look younger than their age have already faced that fear. They learned that slowing down does not make life smaller. It makes it deeper. They don't rush meals. They don't rush conversations. They don't rush decisions that shape their soul. And because they don't rush life, life does not rush them. Buddhism teaches that peace arises when action flows from awareness, not anxiety. And peace leaves a visible mark. Youth stays longer in bodies that are not constantly driven by urgency. Because regulation is not just calm. Regulation is survival without strain. And those who live at the right pace carry something rare in their presence. A quiet strength, a grounded energy, an ageless composure. Not because time favors them, but because they stop fighting it. 7. You are less attached to material outcomes. Buddhism offers a warning that most people hear, but very few actually understand. Attachment leads to suffering. Not because money is evil, not because success is wrong, but because when your sense of worth depends on outcomes, your peace is never secure. Look at the people who age the fastest. They are always chasing something just out of reach. More money, because enough never feels enough. More status, because being respected today does not guarantee tomorrow. More recognition, because silence feels like failure. And the chase never ends. Every goal reached is immediately replaced by another. Every achievement raises the bar higher. Every win creates fear of loss. This constant striving keeps the nervous system in a state of quiet panic. The body is always preparing, always bracing, always tense. And slowly, silently, the body pays the price. Sleep becomes lighter. The jaw stays clenched. The face hardens into an expression of effort. People don't look older because they worked hard. They look older because they were never allowed to rest. Buddhism recognized this centuries ago. It taught that clinging to material outcomes creates a life of endless hunger. No matter how much you acquire, the mind remains unsatisfied. But then there are people like you. People who look younger than their age often carry a quiet shift in values. You value peace more than proof, meaning more than image, alignment more than applause. You don't need your life to look impressive to strangers, only honest to yourself. This is not lack of ambition. This is freedom from obsession. Buddhism calls this non-attachment, not renouncing the world, but refusing to be enslaved by it. You work, but you are not owned by outcomes. You strive, but you are not defined by results. You succeed, but you don't build your identity on success. And when outcomes lose their grip on your worth, something profound happens. The body relaxes. There is no constant pressure to perform, no fear of falling behind, no quiet terror of not being enough. Your nervous system finally stands down. The breath deepens. The face softens. The eyes regain clarity. This is why people who are less attached to material outcomes often appear younger. They are not carrying the weight of constant expectation. They are not living under invisible deadlines set by society. Here is a truth most people never confront. Material hunger is endless. Inner satisfaction is enough. When you stop chasing validation through possessions and status, your energy returns to you. You sleep better. You smile more naturally. Your presence becomes lighter. Buddhism teaches that true wealth is not what you accumulate. It is what you no longer need. And those who understand this truth carry something ageless within them, because a life lived in alignment does not grind the soul down. It nourishes it. And when the soul is nourished, the body reflects it, in calm, in ease, in a youth that no achievement could ever buy. 8. You have accepted impermanence. This is the deepest reason of all. Not habits, not mindset, not discipline, but acceptance. Buddhism rests on a truth so simple that most people spend their entire lives running from it. Everything changes. Nothing stays. Nothing freezes. Nothing belongs to us forever. And yet, most suffering begins the moment we resist this fact. Look at people who fear aging. They fight time like an enemy. They stare at mirrors, searching for proof of decline. They dread birthdays as reminders of loss. Every wrinkle feels like failure. Every year feels like something being taken away. That fear becomes tension. That tension becomes stress. And that stress carves itself into the body. They age not because time moves forward, but because they are at war with it. Buddhism teaches that resisting change is suffering in its purest form. And suffering, when prolonged, leaves a mark. But then there are people like you. People who look younger than their age often share a quiet, almost invisible realization. They have accepted impermanence, not intellectually, not spiritually, but deeply. They understand that nothing is meant to stay the same, including themselves. They don't cling to youth. They don't mourn every change. They don't see aging as an enemy. They see it as movement, as transition, as life continuing to unfold. Because when you stop fighting change, the body stops bracing for loss. The face relaxes. The breath softens. The eyes stay open instead of fearful. This is why acceptance looks like youth. When you are no longer trying to freeze time, time stops feeling violent. Buddhism teaches that clinging creates tension, and tension accelerates decay. But surrender, true surrender, creates ease, and ease preserves life. Here is the paradox most people never understand. Those who accept aging age the slowest, not because they deny reality, but because they are not exhausting themselves resisting it. They allow years to pass without panic. They allow change without grief. They allow life to move through them instead of against them. This inner alignment has a visible effect. Their expressions remain soft. Their presence feels light. Their energy feels grounded, not desperate, because fear ages faster than time ever could. And acceptance frees the body from that fear. Buddhism teaches that peace comes not from controlling life, but from understanding its nature. Everything arises. Everything passes. Nothing is broken by change. And when you live in harmony with impermanence, something extraordinary happens. You stop aging against life and start aging with it. And those who age with life carry something timeless in their presence, not because they avoided years, but because they made peace with them. So if you look younger than your age, it may mean your mind is lighter, your attachments are fewer, your awareness is deeper, not because you escaped suffering, but because you didn't let suffering own you. As Buddhism reminds us, peace is not found in avoiding life, but in understanding it. If this video spoke to something inside you, like it, subscribe, share it with someone who needs clarity. Because youth is not a number, it's a state of consciousness. And once you understand that, time loses its power over you.